critters just like you and me. We've all got scars, but we found our place. A little love and mud, and a whole lot of grace. We show the good, the bad, and the ugly too. The highs, the lows, it's all part of the view. So laugh, love, and maybe cry sometimes with a gang of misfits who always shine. So come on in, kick off your shoes. Oh, God! It's more than a ranch, it's a family crew. And these rescues, they might just rescue you. Welcome to I'm a Survivor. You'll see what second chances are meant to be. We're all survivors of something, it's true. And there's room in this family for all of you. We're all survivors of something, you see. So pull up a seat with our rescue family.
And there we are. Hi to hello, friends. Lester
y'all.
and Jamie here. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, moderators, for being here. Happy 4th of July weekend. I hope you all had a wonderful and relaxing 4th. I hope the fireworks didn't get to you too much and that your animals are nice and safe. I will say that we had no issues whatsoever over at the JL Ranch, but talk about it over here and then describe what we heard about Plum Grove.
Yeah, so here was a little bit crazy. There is a neighborhood a couple miles away that is like, it's people's like summer vacation, little getaway homes, campers, a bunch of things like that. So people came here to celebrate, and they were lighting off quite a bit of fireworks. And I don't remember that last year, but this year, for whatever reason, was the year. And
I know that over the Christmas holidays, I was already in the JL Motel. Would I would have been at the JL Motel this time last year? Did we have the RV over there this time last year?
Mm-hmm.
So this would be my second year not to be here overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep going. But there is a really nice spot. People may not know about what we call our Route 66.
Yeah.
So we live here on the Trinity River, which is the largest river in Texas. And there's a strip of properties that go right along the river. Now, they don't let you build homes along the river because of potential flooding. You can't get a home insured and all that stuff. But there's a lot of folks who take their RVs out, which makes you feel sad for those folks who went camping in a different section of Texas. We have what we call the hill country. Talk about that a little bit and explain how those hills allow that flash flooding. I saw that even something as horrific as a flood has people divided on the political parties. Talk about how flash flooding happens, though.
Flash flooding is exactly what it says. It's a flash. So it happens in a flash. It's unpredictable, and it's treacherous. Probably, I would say, the most dangerous type of flooding. Very little warning and very little knowledge of exactly what will happen because of its, capacity, velocity, and just the treacherousness of it. And poor hill country has just been getting pounded with rain. They received by yesterday enough rain to cover the entire state of Texas a foot deep. And that is like, if you imagine it in that capacity, but they received it in a local area all at once, and it created basically a tidal wave coming down.
So what happens is, I'll say it a little bit differently than how you said it. So you have all of these canyons. So you guys, I know from whatever part of the country you're from, you have hills, and all of those hills lead down into valleys, or let's just say canyons. And so what happens is when you get rain up in them hills, all of that water comes rushing down from all over. And when all that water forms together, that creates this wall of water. And that is what happened to these poor folks who had gone camping, those who had the summer camps. And like Jamie said, the predictions were about half the amount of rain, but no one had any idea how fast that water could come down them hills. Now, we've witnessed that on a very small scale living here. Longhorn Lesters we have our own hills and valleys, and so we've seen what rushing water can do and how fast it can do it.
But nothing like that.
Oh no,
Nothing
no.
like that. And I know today is a day of prayer for the state of Texas. I'm going to get emotional about this, but
Yeah.
I am having a really hard time turning on anything social media wise or TV or even radio because it's nonstop. And I realize it's impactful, but I also just feel for these people who are living it and the extreme trauma that it has caused and the feeling of the unknown. And my heart just breaks, just flat out breaks because I don't know if you know this or not, but another one just hit like an hour ago. The same sort of downpour and flash flood just hit the same exact space again. I don't know how big or how devastating, but
so it's I don't want to get in trouble, but so yes, and it actually, because it was daylight hours, they were able to show you how fast those flash floods come up. I'm going to grab my phone if you don't mind.
Sure.
You keep talking, and then I'll be right back, and I'll be able to play a little bit of that video.
I just think that it impacts all of us to think about it. But for some reason, like, I guess because we just drove across the exact bridge. We were just there in March when we picked up Val, Talus, and Gemma. Maybe it's hitting me harder. Maybe it's because we've experienced flood, but nothing like that. And there's like a guilt around it. But
well, there's nothing you can do. Even if you go out to eat, you just feel guilt of who and how many people are struggling and suffering right now.
Yeah, I literally, like, I'm standing outside watering, and I'm not upset, but I'm like, man, I sure wish it would rain here. And then I think to myself, like, how horrible of a thing to wish for anything right now. Thinking about the people who wish that their kids didn't have to experience what they did, or who are still missing their kids, or for all of the people who no one even knows that they're actually missing because they decided to take off for the weekend and went there and didn't tell anybody because they're adults and they don't have to report into anybody.
Yeah, think about, all the folks who were in the RVs who may not have reported to anybody, or they don't have someone to report to.
Yes.
Think about that for a minute.
I don't know. I just, it's hard to come on here and be like, hey, happy 4th of July weekend. We had such a great weekend. And even yesterday, going to IKEA and things.
Sorry.
I just feel like maybe you should put your volume down because you won't be able to do a copyright.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just going to see if I can find the exact one that I want to show you.
And I just, there's so many things that we have no control over. We have no way to predict about. We have no, and none of us were there. So we don't know what it was like. We don't know and I can't even believe that there's two sides to this story, that there's arguments about what should have, and everybody wants blame because they feel better about it. Like, it's horrible. It's horrible.
That's one thing we're going to ask, that it's obvious that anyone who comes here tonight looking for anything besides sympathy for those poor folks, just go find somewhere else. There's 1,000 channels that you can go express your opinion on. Especially if it's one of hate and anger, but we're not doing that here.
And I guess I also know that Helene was not even a year ago. I think we're at like 9 months or something like that from that, and those people are still not out of it. And that's just a lot in a short amount of time. And it's a guilt of it didn't happen to me, and here I am watering my flowers on a Sunday night, or watering down my horses and sitting here, having a Coke and sharing time with you all while people are out there just like suffering.
Yeah. And then I was talking to Sean over at Keeping It Dutch. He had called to check on us, which was very sweet. And I explained to him that we live in a different part of Texas. But we both agreed that it's hard when you find out that someone has passed from a natural disaster, But to me and to Sean, and probably to most people, I think it's harder when you know how many kids, especially the little girls who had gone off to camp because you expect that when you go off to camp, your summer camping, you're going to be doing all the fun things of camp life and all the things, and just to find out that, you know, middle of the night and all this happens. So I just can't even imagine for a minute how that feels, and that breaks my heart more than anything else.
It's I don't know. It's not something that anybody ever wants to even talk about. That's the other part, is like, it's everywhere, and no matter how much you try to like say the prayers for it and you know, think in a way of like trying not to be guilty, it's just like sometimes you just can't get out of it.
And then think about this over here, for example, too. When Jamie and I went to get the horses, we passed right through there. We passed right over the river, and we passed through all of those canyons. And at every single canyon, I'm going to call them a canyon, every drop off from the hills that we was going through, there were all of these signs about flash flooding, potential, you know, flash flooding.
Keep in mind, all of those places were sand pits.
Yeah, it's so dry and like desert like. So scary, but we feel horrible for those folks. Anyway, we will let you know that it's hard to come on here and be jovial and jolly and happy and laughing and happy-go-lucky when we know that there's so many people right here across our beautiful state of Texas who are really struggling right now. So just try to keep that in mind. We're still going to try to have a good time and talk about our weekend, but just know that it's not such a happy weekend for everybody. All righty. We did go on this weekend to a couple of different things. We went to the small town of Lufkin, which is not really that small. It's bigger than where we live. We took the 30-minute drive up to Lufkin, and I was pleasantly surprised that the line to get out the door, the checkout line, wasn't as bad as what it usually is. We've been there, I would say, probably 10 times. And I'm going to go as far as saying 8 out of those 10 times, it has just been horrendous, just horrible. And so much that I've made videos about it. Well, Jamie, I didn't realize this. Jamie says there's an actual methodology, if you can call it that. It's a business model, Talk about that business model and how she thinks that's probably the model that some stores possibly, now I'm not saying this for a fact, but possibly this particular store incorporates.
There's many businesses. It's not just retail. It's a lot. Even the one that I work for, where they call it, are you a lean organization? And a lean organization means that someone in your leadership or someone is following a lean Six Sigma, plan, which is basically do way more with way less. And it is by design to do just enough in certain areas to get by and recognize that there'll still be enough because of the quantity or because of the things. So one thing I noticed about the store was like they had these smoking deals to get people to come inside the door. So they had Coke 12 packs, 3 for $9, and a case of water for $2, which was what people were just flooding in for. And they didn't care how long that they stood in line. They didn't care what they did. So they are able to reduce the price on this because they've cut down on their overhead so much. Basically, it's a business model, basically. And a lot of organizations use it. A lot of organizations take pride in being
so the way it applies to stores like the one that we went to. What you're saying is they know that to get people out of the store faster, they need, let's just say, 4 employees. But if we can cut back 1 employee, we can save X number of dollars per hour, which increases our profit.
But think about this: if they're standing in line longer. They only came in for that deal and they don't want to look around. They're standing in line longer. If they walk up and see that line long, what are people going to do?
Probably start looking over at the beef jerky, seeing all the different candies, seeing what's on sale on that aisle. So the longer they stand there in that line, the more likely they are to buy one or two additional items that if they walked right up, went right out, they would never look at and buy.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. So
it's a strategy.
to keep people in the store longer on those impulse last minute buys. Well, I tell you what, it was crazy because I was only in line for, I'm going to guess and say 8 minutes. And the reason that I'm making sure that I'm accurate on that is the last time that I made a video about that particular store, I got a phone call from the manager. Yeah. Come to find out, his wife watches the videos. And when she heard that I had made a video about how long the line was, they went and pulled the footage. In my video, I said I was in line for about 15 minutes. Well, Mr. Morrow, he wants to clarify that I was only in line for a little over 8 minutes. And
no, it was, you said 30 and he said 22. It was still crazy long.
It was, I remember,
or something like that.
I forgot the exact number, but he was going to argue the fact that in my video, I misstated the fact of how long I stayed in line. Yet they went back. This is the manager of the store, y'all. The manager went back to pull the video footage, found me, and literally tracked how long I was in line, found my phone number to call me and let me know that I was not accurate. I was not in line for as long as I said that I was. And I says, Bud, I says, listen, I says, you take a guy like me who's on pins and needles anyway, who has 1,000 things I got to get done. And even making me wait 2 or 3 minutes is more than what I got time for or patience for. And yeah, he was trying to argue with me about the misstated facts of my video. But nonetheless, it was still a lot longer than anybody should stand in line. So I just wonder, and like I said in my video, how many other people. So here's the thing. There were a lot of comments on that video about people in that exact same store, not the same location, but that store around the country who have the exact same issues. So I think that what you said might be very accurate, that that's their business model. We're going to save as much money as we can, which means more profit, keep those folks in the store longer, which means they're going to buy more, spend more money. So
I still got out in record time. So I had great experience, but I also lingered and lurked until the line was down. So, their strategy worked. I think I walked away with some extra fly ointment or something like that.
So they got you.
They did. They got me.
So that was on one day. That was actually on Friday, which would have been the 4th. And that was fun. We went to go eat, and it wasn't real busy. The restaurant we went to was a nice restaurant, not fancy nice, but it was nice and great food. And it wasn't busy because of the 4th. A lot of people were home barbecuing and doing what people do on July 4th. Got some stuff done at both of the properties, and that was a wonderful day. And then yesterday, we took a longer road trip, about an hour and a half of a drive, down to IKEA. Jamie went live while we were there. I went live from the buffet we stopped at before we got there. A little bit shocked that more people wanted to see this IKEA store than watch us eat buffet. Don't get some people. Just don't get some people. But no, that was cute. We had a little bit of a road trip. Nothing overnight, just a couple of hours. But we did do some looking around. We didn't buy anything. Well, you bought a couple of things. Look, let me show them. Hand me that right there. Look what Jamie bought for me. I never had one of these before. And so now I have a way to make sure there's no more cat hair.
Well, because it's replacing this. This is what sits on the countertop here, typically at the house.
Yeah, but I don't have time for all that. Remember, I'm the guy who's in a rush, but I do got time for this. And there you go. Now I can come on here and have no more cat hair or dog hair or any other kind of hair sticking in my nose, on my beard, or anything else. It's a lint brush. So no, we got a couple of small things, but we got some really good ideas on that video.
It was fun.
Yeah, for what we're going to do.
I got home and I got a little disappointed though. And I told Lester this and he was like, What? That can't be right. I fully expected to have hit my 10,000 steps yesterday while we were at IKEA. I walked a lot. I went back to go get Lester 2 or 3 different times, in addition to walking the entire upstairs and the entire downstairs and the entire parking lot 2 separate times, plus doing chores here and helping Lester at the JL North. So I was like, how on earth do I only have 6,000 steps? Well, guess what? The whole time I was live, it didn't count a single step.
Yeah, it's not going to count if you're actually using apps on your phone. So
I went ahead and was like, okay, I guess I'll call it that. But I was really disappointed. I was like, how is this possible? My body can feel when I've had a big long walking day, especially in flip-flops. I'm not saying like I'm in pain, but I genuinely, like, you can tell whenever you've put that much on there. And I put that many miles on your body that day.
oh yeah,
And
we took a lot of steps yesterday.
yeah. So
For Vonda says Jim should have bought more than one roller. You did. You bought like
I
4,
bought
didn't you?
extras. So I bought the refills or whatever.
Yeah, the refill. So one roller with multiple refills.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can't take one to the JL.
You can
So
take that one.
I'll still have hair on me when I'm over there.
I'll
then.
find some additional lint rollers. That one belongs to you.
Elvis says, I've never heard of IKEA until I saw your video. So IKEA is probably, it's not the biggest, believe it or not. We're still going to go next weekend, if we can, to an even larger furniture store. You sweating?
Yeah, sorry.
So I came in from doing the chores much earlier. I even had time to have me a bath already and laid down, built my tomorrow video, did all those things. The whole time, Jamie's still out there working. Doing her chores, not mine. I did my chores, but she walked in just in time to get started. You need to cool off?
Nope, I'm okay.
Turn the air
I just
down?
didn't want people to think I was like flipping my hair to look pretty. I just was trying to get it off
You're
of my
not doing
neck.
that thing that some girls do. Like,
No, I was just trying to get it to stop touching my neck. That's all.
no.
No.
So no, she didn't get enough steps in. But no, IKEA is pretty big. But there's actually a couple of other furniture stores. I don't know if they're going to have the same setup as IKEA as far as having the entire room set up. But you guys, we're not going to give it away, are we?
No.
Let's not give it away because we don't know for a fact if we can go next weekend.
That, like, I don't think that people realize how hard it is to plan something that involves stepping away, even if it's for a few hours. But we don't typically make that decision until it's time to go.
Yeah.
And because if the weather's weird, if there's an animal sick or anything like that, then we just can't go. Or if one of us is, not feeling the
weather's
best.
bad. Yeah, we're not going to drive that far in bad weather.
But our hopes and dreams are that we will take another field trip next weekend.
Yeah. Well, we're on a mission. Everyone knows, and we talked about it today in that video, that my wonderful nephew Jake is working really hard on getting his house room by room all knocked out. And then, of course, they have furniture that they already have that they're going to move over when they start moving things over. But there's a third bedroom in this particular house. And we offered to see if he would let us help them with that bedroom. So we have nothing to do with what their style they want to have on it, but we are going to help them with the bedroom. And so what we did was made a little video, took a lot of pictures, and then he and his wife will look through it and decide which is their favorite. And then but like I said, we're going to try multiple locations first. And then I made one thing very clear at the end of that video. I says, I'll be more than happy to do my part as the uncle and support you on the furniture that you guys want for that third bedroom. But I'll do everything from getting it delivered, or if I have to deliver it myself, I'll bring it over. I'll help you carry it in. But I will not get on my hands and knees and put that stuff together. That is the one thing where I draw the line. And then I reminded folks how lucky I was to be poor, very poor, back when my kids were born, living paycheck to paycheck, that I never had a chance to go off and shop at a place like that. Whenever we decorated for my son's rooms, it was resale shops, hand-me-down thingamajigs, And we found ways, furniture from Goodwill that was already put together.
I got Xander's crib out of somebody's trash pile.
Really? And it worked out for you.
I had to get a new mattress, but I got Xander's crib out of a trash. Hank,
You're not going to take over our video. So we're excited for Jake. Now, like I said, they're going to bring a lot of their furniture from their home. Mwah. You know, things you get used to, things that you've bought for yourselves that you like. And I don't know this for a fact, but did Lissa bring furniture with her from Alaska?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because she shipped a lot of things down here, and then her parents brought her vehicle like a year later. So I don't think she brought big furniture.
Oh, okay.
She might have brought small things, but not big. And then you know that when it flooded last year, that they had to replace everything on the first level.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure. You know, I haven't been in their house since that happened, but I imagine that maybe they made decisions then to just wait and hold off on some of those replacements too. I'm not sure.
Don't you step on that computer. Keep talking. Just go ahead. Just keep going. Don't stop.
Yeah. Like, how can anyone? Do you know how to work that and make it sticky again? Because it's not sticky anymore, I bet.
I don't see any hair. I can't see any hair from here.
Look.
Babe, don't distract people from a good live.
Look. You have to peel off a layer.
Oh, so it peels off in layers.
So now
it's a brand new one.
Now it's a brand new roller, so you don't
All
need a
right.
refill yet.
Well, when Hank comes back over here again, I'll just roll it again.
You
now,
need like a to-go kit. It needs to have spare glasses, a flea comb, your lint roller, a kazoo. What am I missing, y'all?
a computer, a charger. No, so we had a good time both Friday, because Jamie was off. She didn't have to work, and she don't get many days off. Saturday, and then today was even fun. Guys, today was crazy fun with the JL Ranch horses. I don't want to talk about it because I know how you guys are with information. You get a tidbit and off you go. But I'll tell you what, we started trailer training with Roman today. It would be day one of trailer training. Now, when I say trailer training, that means loading. Mr. Rick, that's our buddy Rick Gore over at Think Like a Horse. He says that there's 3 things that every responsible horse owner needs to be able to do. There's a lot more than 3, but he says 3 things that you have to be able to do. You have to be able to halter and lead your horse. I mean, if you can't halter and lead a horse, then you're just a wreck. You have to be able to tie your horse. The horses have to be able to be tied without getting spooked. And that's not as easy as what some people think. Mr. Rick reminded us today that if you've ever had somebody who tied a horse improperly and they got maybe to like a plastic lawn chair and that horse got spooked and all of a sudden that chair moves, there goes Lint. And then all of a sudden, then you find yourself having to see that horse running across the pasture. Yeah, there's
like flying in the air.
So you have to be able to do several things. One of those things is you have to be able to halter, lead that horse. You have to be able to tie that horse. You have to be able to load that horse for a just-in-case scenario. And so we've done real well with Roman in our little lessons. Now, granted, we don't video everything because we would be foolish to video the same thing day after day after day after day. We guys know that we know that you want a dynamic channel. You want to see things changing. You want to see things evolving. You don't want to watch the same old every day. So, but doesn't matter. Our lives are very routine in the work that we do with the horses every day. We just don't show you. But we got Roman to do, he's doing wonderful with the halter. Wonderful with the halter. And even the lead rope, where he used to be very spooked of lead ropes, he's not near as spooked of a lead rope if he knows it's a lead rope. If you just walk out twirling a lead rope around, you're going to scare the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But if you walk out and present the lead rope and he sees what it is and he can smell it and he sees you snap it under his halter and you hold it proper and you don't yank and tug and all of those kind of things, then he's wonderful and he leads very, very, very well. Today, we've started doing a little bit of tying as far as tying him with the proper type of slip knot and then, of course, loading training. So can't wait for you to see that video tomorrow. I think that you'll get a kick out of it. It's not only is it serious, but there's a lot of humor. And Jamie and I laughed a lot while making it. Roman and his friends are just so very special. So I hope you'll check that out tomorrow. But that was what our days we spent our morning doing. We at some point we went over to Plum Grove to see Mom and Dad's new place and all of the progress that they have going over there, and got a tour of their what do they call it? Their shell home.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. I made a little bit of video. I got to be careful though with that video because these guys are working so fast that I don't want to end up beating my own dad to his content. That's my dad's content. And now, of course, my dad has his camera out all the time. You never see my dad without his camera.
Well, but this is like a really big deal, and capturing all of it is really important because they'll look back one day and think about, number one, how fast that it's gone up. Because first of all, I didn't expect anybody to be working 4th of July weekend, let alone
Sunday afternoon.
And they were working, and they've made a lot of progress. I wish that I could send that. I'd be like, all right, now that you're done, can you all go up to Illinois and help Xander and Kendra out? Because they could sure use it. But I understand they're very specialized in what they do. But no, it was a really fun afternoon of going to see what's going on. And then also to hear like some of the plans that are coming along, and then some of the, well, we're just not quite sure about this part yet, and really sit down. And then I didn't mean to steal what you're talking about.
No. I want you to participate.
And then I also got Lester stepped outside to talk with his dad a little bit, and it was just Gigi and I in the house, and we got to talking horses, and boy, did I get some stories that I have never heard before. And I asked her at the end, I said, you should tell that in a video. And she goes, I don't know. Sometimes at the end of the day, when I'm done with all the kids, the last thing I want to do is talk, because I've talked all day to the dang kids, or all of those things. And I just said, well, I was like, what if one day I come over and I interview you and ask these questions? Because I had never heard some of these stories today, and I actually got emotional hearing some of them. And I think that y'all would love to hear. It was about her childhood and about your childhood and some just really neat things. And it was all connected to horses. So that was just really special. And I hope that she and I can get together soon to do that. I may have to sneak her away because there's so much activity and so much noise at their house, because people are just in and out all the time. There's the TV's loud, there's birds, there's dogs barking, because there's so many people in and out. I'm thinking maybe I should just sneak G away and we should go have lunch somewhere or something like that. And then I can interview her and really, just get to hear some of those stories, because I think it is hard sometimes when it's just her talking to a camera to think of what to say and to talk, to remember all those things as you're trying to look good on video. You're trying to remember it in a methodical way. And I think that if I can prompt her about some of the stories she told me, that she can tell a lot of those things. But it was a really fun afternoon, actually, of just catching up. And I like that we got to be able to have the tour of the house, and also just to be able to hear about all of the future plans for Morrow Hill.
Someone says you should do a timeout Tuesday with my mom, with Gigi.
My only thing about that is, though, if she's had kids all day, like, is she going to be stressed out? Maybe she doesn't have kids right now. Maybe it is a good time to go do it on Tuesday.
My mom will not be getting on any horses. No.
Nope.
Keep talking, Jamie.
So, the fun things about Lester goes, Mom, you have to go to IKEA. You should look for some of these things. And she goes, well, can I have my own furniture to put in here? And Lester goes, oh, well, if some of it doesn't fit, then you should think about going to IKEA. So I also committed to that if she wanted to at least go check it out one day, that I would take her and we would go to IKEA. I think that would be a really fun girls' day as well, to be able to go in. I have not told her that I may need to push her through some of that, because it is very tiring and it is a lot of walking.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to scare her off by that, because if she's interested, then we'll make it work. But I will tell her before she fully commits. But I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
She can't ride Val. She told me today that. That's how the conversation started. I said, have you ever heard of my Clydesdale Val? And then we started to talk about Shivers and Val's recent diagnosis and just how sweet Val is. And that's how we got talking about horses. And she goes, there's no way on earth that I could ever feel steady enough to get back on a horse at my age. She goes, there's just no way I could sling my leg over or get my leg up that high. And then I confessed that we use the trailer stairs to get on the taller horses. And I said, even that still is hard because they're so tall. And she goes, yep, I know those days of my life are over. And that's when she started to tell me about stories in her life. So I think it'll be really exciting if we get to have a one-on-one with Gigi. And then I really started to think about, I think it would be really fun to have a one-on-one with everybody on Morrow Hill, but I don't know if everybody's interested in having a one-on-one interview on Morrow Hill. So maybe I can convince people to sit down with me and share some things. One of my favorite things to do is to interview people. And to ask about, strange questions, not just about regular questions, but I like to dig in a little bit and, ask.
One thing that you said that is very true, and that this is the same. Well, the reason that everybody is not a video creator is because not everybody has as easy a time as talking on a video. If it was easy, then everyone would do it, and we'd all have channels. But my mom does struggle trying to find things in content and things to talk about. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but she has to compete with my dad. And my dad can talk up one wall and down the other. My dad can just talk and about anything. He can sit down with a cup of coffee or jump on that side by side, and he never stops talking. And so my mom feels like that's not really her thing. She just cannot do that. So a lot of the folks who follow my dad's channel will check out Gigi's channel, but they find out real fast it's different. It's different. Mom is mom and dad is dad, and everyone is a little bit different with how they do their videos. So yeah, my dad has an endless catalog of stories. So says, sweet Vanessa, and I do agree. My dad can just talk, and he can talk. Oh my God, he can just talk. So, but it's all good. I'm going to ask Mr. Brandon to stop. Moderators, if you don't mind, go ahead and send Brandon away for a while. Brandon, we all have bad days, but no one's going to send you money, and we feel bad for you for whatever you're going through. But you don't come here asking folks for money. Everyone's saying, please get rid of Brandon. So moderators, Brandon, I hope you find help if you need it. But you're not going to come on here with all of that. Okay, I'm sorry. He was who I was trying to find earlier. Everyone was asking me, please. And I was like, let me go find him. And he's not being mean. He's not being mean, but he's... Yeah. Okay. Anyway, he's gone. Thank you so much, everybody. Where were we?
I was talking about how I want to find time to interview everybody on Morrow Hill.
Yeah. That would be fun. I told Jamie that I think the best video that she could ever do, and Jamie has to do it, no one else can do this, would find the time to get Dad, Mom, me, Kim, Daniel, and Tina, only us. You can't have, brother-in-law Rob jump in. You can't have Jake and Bree running the house. You can't have the kids running and screaming through the house, but only the six of us, the original six, only us. And then you have to have, I'd say, an interviewer. If not, no one would ever get a word in. You would have to be...
No one would ever get a word in anyway. So Lester has this idea. He's like, when I say I want to interview him, he goes, no, that's so great. Get the original six together in a room. And I was like, where? First of all, he goes, we'll invite him here. I'm like, time out. Kim's not leaving Levi at home.
No, you can't have Levi
Bennett's
there.
coming. And then
Levi ain't coming.
Even
Levi
if somebody
coming.
drives somebody else, that means they're still here and it makes it different. In addition to that, it's going to take a lot of crowd control for whoever is the hostess of that interview session. You almost need a talking stick to be able to like pass around so people know. And even then, it's no one. And that would be the world's most editing nightmare ever. And he's like, you should do it. I'm like, you do it. I can't control your family.
No. So it can't be edited. It has to be live. And so what we could do before mom and dad move out of their house.
That's what I said.
But here's the problem. All those gosh darn dogs, because those dogs bark at everything. And so mom thinks it's cute. Dad tolerates it. But to everyone else, it drives all of us crazy. It just drives us just mad. And so we have to find a way to get the dogs out and away. We got to find a way to tell everyone, like there has to be like somebody on the porch to stop everybody from coming in and out. Which
is still a distraction because the big window's there. That's why I'm saying like that Disneyland version in your head is like,
well, you know what? As Disneyland as you may think it may be, I can promise you it'll be your best video you've ever made as far as the audience retention, as far as the engagement. I don't know if, but here's the thing. You ask the questions and give us all a chance to talk about it. And then that might be the best way to do it is just let us all talk.
It would be a 2-hour live and it would be 2 questions. 2.
All right, so I'm about sick of people talking about my physical appearance, okay? Supposedly, I have women's glasses on. I have black eyes, and I have a swollen nose.
God.
So what if I do? These are 3 different comments, maybe from the same lady, I don't know. Who cares if I do? Who cares if I do, okay? Who cares if I do? I might be wearing women's panties too. Who cares if I do? I'm not. But what I'm saying is, where have we become a society where we just can be so critical of each other and do stuff like that, even asking questions? So if my nose is swollen and if my glasses appear to be women's glasses and if I look to be sunburned or if I look to have black eyes, can we just not enjoy the conversation? We're here for conversation.
That's okay. I heard some things about myself too, and I'm
well,
interviewing would be really fun. That would be a great challenge. I will attempt it before they officially are out of their house with the 6 of you. I will commit to that, but I also still would like to individually interview. A really fun way to do this would be to post nobody's individual interview to start, but to go in with a set of questions that everybody gets asked, whether it's about a certain event or something, and hear the different answers and then play that question, like take a poll or take questions from people that they want to know. And let's say we do 6 questions. And then question 1 is, I don't know, what do you remember, playing at Christmas when you grew up or whatever. And then everybody's answer to hear the differences across the board versus an interview with Gigi or things like that. Like there could be other things that come out of this too. And I haven't fully figured it out, but I do think it'll be really fun to either do that or to do the, what about almost like the Newlywed Game, but it would be the family game of like, tell us who the best driver is or who the worst driver is, who wrecked the most cars, who got grounded the most, who got spanked the most,
and see if we all have the same answers.
Yes, I think that would be super fun in the room of 6 of like everybody has a little whiteboard and they write it down and you all have to hold it up. That might be the most crowd control that I could possibly get out of.
They used to have a
the
game
original
like
6.
that. Well, the Newlywed Game used to have like a dry erase board and would do that and see how well they know each other, which was cute. So I'm taking off my glasses. I'm tired of reading that mess.
That's probably best.
That is best. So no, that would be fun. But I'm telling you, if you don't find a way to do it, and if you end up waiting and hesitating and putting it off, and then you find you're going to regret that you didn't have a chance to get that done. and you really would. You would regret the fact that you did not get a chance to get that done. So, but no, the house is coming along really well. I'm pleased that they went with the house they went with. I was so nervous for them going with that metal building style, and but the shell home was actually the idea that Jamie and I looked at and talked about and convinced them into. So good for them. Not good for me because I won. It's not about Lester winning, but the shell home was something that we thought was doable. Now, I will say that they are going with the bare minimum from the shell home. All they actually added was porches. You know about that? I suggested that they go ahead and do a little bit more because the guys that are there will do everything. As long as you want to pay the next step, so they could do the insulation, they could do the wiring, they'll do the sheetrock. But my dad is just insistent on not spending any more money, not going to spend any more money, and that they want to do all those things themselves. So we'll see. Jamie and I are going to be in charge of the ramp. We will be the ones who will be doing the ramp. And then I think that most people have all figured out what they would do as far as their specialty, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know that for a fact. And like Jamie said earlier, you need to go to the source to get all of the exact information. And so my dad is obviously the source where you can find all of the ins and outs on what's going on.
You know what I'm surprised about, though?
What?
I'm surprised that nobody asked you to do the plumbing.
Yeah, I know. That is a little bothersome because I'm great with plumbing.
Don't let your plumbing troubles fester. Just call Lester, I think is what Jason at Cog Hill coined in your offering to him whenever Jason and Brooke were building their home. Their plumber quit, like, I don't know, as they were pouring concrete, or like their next step was to pour concrete.
No, yeah, you can't pour concrete till your plumbing is done. And
their plumber like quit. So Lester was like, dude, I got you. It'll be fine. And then he showed him all of his skill set in the barndominium. And I don't know why Jason didn't take you up on that, to be honest with you.
I don't either, Jamie. Jason doesn't know how much money he ended up wasting on a real plumber when he has a friend right down the road who would have been more than happy to help him with his plumbing needs. We made a cute video about that. That was a while back.
That's one of my most favorite videos. One of my most favorite videos is that. I don't even remember what it's called.
I don't either.
If anybody finds that video, please do post in the links because
what is that video called?
It is outstanding. It's one of my most favorites.
Now you got me where I want to look.
It was before we ever met Jason and Brooke in person. That's what makes it even more funny is that we didn't know them.
Would that have been Longhorn Lester or I'm a Survivor?
I think I'm a Survivor because it was around the time that we got Carl.
So I have to go to my channel then. So the way I would do that is go to my channel only. And I can search on my channel. Let me do that real fast. You keep talking. Don't worry about me. Y'all just ignore me, which is pretty easy. Just don't even act like I'm not even here.
Yes. So being able to see their layout, the inside framework was just beginning whenever we got there today. So being able for G to say this is going to be our room and this is going to be the laundry room, like they were just barely in the beginning stages of that. So I'm really excited for G. This is, something that she's looking forward to. And then, also for Papa as well, like this is a really big deal for them. It'll give them peace of mind about the flooding and things like that. Personally, I'm excited that we get the ramp job.
I found it. Okay. So I cannot airdrop this computer though.
What you can do though is that I'm a Survivor you're on?
Yeah.
All right. So hit share.
Share.
All right. Now send a text to me.
Oh Lord. Okay.
We're going to do this a little bit backwards. Okay. And send that to me.
Okay.
All right. Now get out of I'm a Survivor and go to Longhorn Lester's.
Why Longhorn Lester's?
Because you're going to go on this live and share that link as a comment as Longhorn Lesters. Okay, now go to YouTube, not Studio.
On YouTube.
Are you at YouTube on Longhorn Lesters?
Yes. Okay.
All right, now go back to
How
the
does
text.
she know all of this? Go back to my text.
To
Okay.
me. Okay. Now take that, open it back up. All right, now hit share.
Uh-huh.
All right, now hit the live.
Hit live.
Okay, now in the comments, paste it. Oh no.
I didn't click the right share.
Okay, go back to it.
Y'all got to give me a second here. I got to figure things out.
Hank, go back to the text, baby.
Oh, the text?
Yeah, now click on it there. Now hit share.
Share. We never did that the first
hit
time.
copy.
Copy link.
Yes, now go to the live. Yeah. Now you should be able to paste it. There you go.
Okay, so we're just going to paste it. Now, what's going to happen if everyone goes and watches it right now, though?
They won't. They're gonna copy and paste it themselves.
Did you see it pop through there?
Not yet. It takes a minute.
Jamie's really smart. If y'all didn't know that, she's actually very smart. Sometimes she's too smart for her own good. I don't really know exactly how it's going to pop up on there, Jamie.
It's coming. Do you see it on here?
I didn't look. Yeah.
Do you have it set as you can't share links or something?
No. I don't. Anyway, let's not waste time on that.
Anyway, we'll share it later as a post in the community. How about that?
Yeah, and it's called that. If that's what friends are for, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, cause that's what friends are for. I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
Bless you. Oh my gosh, all that darn cat hair.
Anyway, we'll post it in a link later. It is a fabulous video, and it'll make you laugh. So people are asking me, I found the missing gnome at G's house today. We're sitting on the couch, and I look over Lester's shoulder. I'm like, it's been well over a year that I gnomed Stephanie, almost died getting locked in the greenhouse. And then the game was to, gnome somebody and to leave a tiny thing, and then everybody passed on the gnome. And it just died somewhere. And I didn't know what happened to it. And I look over, and it's on G's entertainment stand.
Yeah.
And it's not part of G's normal decor. It is a drunk gnome with a whiskey bottle and his pants down with his butt up in the air. And I have no idea if she even knows it's there. She dusts and cleans all the time, but does she think that, I have questions about how the gnome is sitting on G's entertainment stand while she's packing, while she's redecorated. How long has it been there? I have so many questions. Have you seen it there before?
Well, no, but I do know that she doesn't even know what she has in her own home. So, for example, I know that Buddy and Stephanie, as a joke, one time took all of these pictures of them in these different poses, and they put my favorite grandson, and it would be Buddy, and then all kinds of stuff about Buddy. And they put those pictures, they mixed those pictures all in with her pictures. And for the longest time, we're all seeing these picture frames of Buddy and Stephanie, and you have one picture of everybody. That would be normal. You don't just have 20 of one couple and everyone else just gets one. And so we didn't know what was going on, why my mom has this sudden love for Buddy and Stephanie. Come to find out, Bud and Stephanie did that as kind of a April Fool's prank, and my mom never caught on to it. It was all of us who saw these pictures and why do you got Buddy and Stephanie all over the place? And they were all over the house. And I think that sometimes you just maybe not realize, you walk through the house, go get your coffee, you walk through the bathroom, wherever you go, and you don't realize that somebody has completely added things to your decorations.
I just know that I wish I had thought of it though. That was top notch. I don't even do you call that splunking? Like,
I
what
don't
do
know.
you call that? Or you like leave things and hope, and especially those pictures. That was the funniest part. It's genius.
Yeah, I know that, Buddy. I will say this: we've all done like promotional videos for items that we've received in the mail, and that we have to, give a video sponsorship for. Nothing was as good as Buddy's video about the Highboy Cowboy.
That's a fact.
So it was one of those e-bikes that Buddy got from a company called Highboy, and so he made his promotional video be Highboy Cowboy, where he was like doing all kinds of cowboy type stuff on his e-bike. And it's just his humor is just on point. So a lot of people may not know that about Bud. When Bud comes on to his live with Stephanie or videos, he's fairly reserved. He's kind of in work mode, kind of a techie kind of a guy, long hair, loves, to brew his own beer. And a lot of folks don't realize that Buddy is probably one of the wittiest and the most funniest of all of the Morrow clan, of all. Jake has his moments and his laugh and his smile, and we all have our own style, but Buddy just has this amazing sense of humor that most people, I don't think most of you guys even you get it. I don't think you would get it because you don't see it enough.
Do you know who else has it though, or who has some of that?
Uncle Dan?
Connor.
Oh, yeah, Connor. Yeah.
Connor is a funny kid.
Connor's very funny. He got that from his dad.
Yes.
Yeah, Connor's very funny.
Yes. And I love Connor's wit right now. Like we haven't seen Connor in a little bit. Obviously, they're on a trip. But even before that, Connor will come have some serious comebacks and is quite hilarious.
Yeah, Buddy is Sister Kim's eldest son. So that's my nephew.
Apparently they did the picture thing to Sister Kim too.
Oh, so Sister Kim got that too. So Kim probably made a video about it. Now well, you know what? Kim's house, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean it in a mean way, but so different women have different styles of decorating. I define it as clutter. Okay. So a lot of people are not going to understand why I would say that. But in my opinion, Kim's home is very clean, very well kept, dusted. There's no filth. There's nothing nasty, but there's not a space. There's not an inch for anything. On every wall, there's something. And some things are stacked higher behind other things. And I don't know what like style that is. I just call it like kind of like an old person's clutter. And Kim collects and gathers everything, and she builds stuff, and she gets rid of nothing. She's as bad as my dad as far as that goes. I can't read what people are saying. Kim is a minimalist. No, I think you have no idea. You've been misled. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say it's more like a maximalist.
Yeah, a maximalist.
And I'm guilty of some of that. I am. I have like my office is
yeah. So if you've
battered with things.
If you've seen Jamie's office, Kim's house is like Jamie's office on like steroids, like times 10. So for Kim to be able to find things that Buddy and Steph may have planted surprises me. My mom's house is not as bad. There's space for things in mom's house. So that's funny that Kim would have discovered those.
I just thought it was a very clever trick. And then there's people that are saying like, G didn't know she was supposed to pass it on. She doesn't have to pass it on. That's the thing. She doesn't have to pass it on. It was just funny that I haven't asked about the Gnome in forever. Like it's probably been well over a year. And then all of a sudden, to literally see the Gnome as we're sitting on G's couch today was just hilarious to me because I was there at Christmas and didn't see it at Christmas. So it just was funny. G does not have to pass it on. Nobody had to pass it on if they didn't want to. It was just a fun little thing that we did. So don't freak out. Nobody run and tell Gigi, you're supposed to pass it on. You messed up. You can't keep that. Like she can keep it. I love that she has it up. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hank.
Yep. This is the reason why I don't wear my glasses when we have the ring light out, because we don't have the best of lighting as far as the studio setup over here. I can't see without my glasses, but when I put them on with the ring light, it puts this horrible, horrible glare, and then it just really distracts me. But I have a hard time not seeing what's going on in the comments, so you'll just have to deal with it. I might can turn that down
I
a
could
little
just
bit.
turn it off.
Well, if you turn it off, it gets real dark.
Try it.
You want to just turn it off over there and see what happens?
Sorry, my armpit is something you're gonna view. Now you can see the computer screen in your glasses.
It is what it is.
I wonder if they make non-reflective glasses.
I don't know. I do not know.
Oh, people want to know. We didn't get to talk about the fireworks in Plum Grove. You want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, all you can really say is that it's just, I think it should be illegal to have that much going on. And it's not just fireworks, it's guns. I did not realize it was that easy to find ways to turn a gun into an automatic. And so there's just way, way, way so much going on over there. And I feel so bad for those who have animals and have to deal with that. And it's not just one night a year.
No.
If you think it's one night a year, it's not. It's, guys, it's going even on today. It's those fireworks stands, they'll stay open as long as they got someone to sell to. And those folks who are off from work, having a few weekends, days off, and they're taking advantage of it. And it's a little bit out of control. And so there's no one you can call. You can't call. So you don't even sit there and say, you should just call so-and-so, call so-and-so. It's not like that. But I'll tell you what, it's almost year round. And
I have
then,
to look something up while
yeah,
you're talking.
and if it's not the actual firework pop-up stands, they have these firework warehouses that are opened up all the time. And out in the city, where we live, then you don't really have a codes. There's no, like, I guess you would call them codes. And so people are allowed to shoot. They're allowed to do fireworks. They're allowed to have fires. They're allowed to have all of those kind of things. And people are saying it may just be everywhere. It may not just be in Plum Grove. Maybe not, but we hear that, we see that, and I feel so bad for those who have animals there. I will say that, and I'm just going off of what happened yesterday. Nobody in the Morrow family has ever sold Morrow land, not in our side of the Morrow family. So a lot of people would say you should sell it and buy somewhere else. You should sell and buy somewhere else. No, Sister Tina and Rob have decided. Did you just order those?
No, I just looked at them and they do make them, but I haven't found any yet because anti-glare is different than anti-reflective.
Yeah. Sister Tina and Sister Tina and my brother-in-law Rob did in fact move somewhere else, but they still have their piece of land. And then Jamie and I, obviously, we have moved somewhere else, yet we still have our land. And Jake and Lissa are going to eventually move to Honey Hill, yet they're keeping their home and their little piece of land. And so I don't know at what point things will ever get so bad that you would even consider selling of land when it's been in the family for so long. Now, let's not say that it doesn't happen. We all know that my Aunt Joanne, as of right now, Uncle Raleigh passed away. Uncle Raleigh would have never, ever sold a piece of land. But when Uncle Raleigh passed away, the fact that he did not have a will, then it ended up to where Joanne is going to end up selling all of Uncle Raleigh's land. Hopefully, she'll give some of that money that she makes to the rightful heirs. But yeah, there was some misunderstanding last night and all of that. And so I wanted to clear that up. So there's not anybody on my dad's side of the family out of all of the siblings, that would be me, Dan, Tina, or Kim. None of us have ever sold an acre of land. Aunt Joanne, who's not a Morrow, she married into the Morrows in her 50s, is in fact trying to sell all of Uncle Raleigh's land. She will sell the hayfield. It's up for sale now. And so I don't know how long until it sells, but it is all up for sale. All of Joanne's land is up for sale. That was a little bit of a misunderstanding last night, and it got me a little bit riled up when someone accused Tina of selling her land. You may not realize this, but Tina actually bought a piece of Joanne's land the same way that I did. I bought 11 of Joanne's acres. Tina also bought 1 acre where they had their home. So don't forget that Sister Tina and Rob also lost their original home in Hurricane Harvey, just like so many others did. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I will not be buying that land. Joanne is going to sell it as commercial. That's what it's called, commercial. And so that land is going way, way, way expensive. Guys, listen, I think it's going to be like 50 acres, and she's asking for 1.2 million, I believe. And so that's
2 commas.
2 commas. 2 commas. 2 commas. But like, here's the thing. We're not going to start bashing on Aunt Joanne. This is Aunt Joanne. If Uncle Raleigh, Uncle Raleigh didn't do it the right way, I'm sorry to say. He may have said it 100 times, but if he didn't have it in writing, didn't have it notarized.
People are very confused because the land that you've always talked about of being where Tina and Rob's house was is actually where Bree's horses are.
Yeah.
People don't know that there was an additional piece that they bought from Uncle Raleigh. Well, actually, it was Uncle Raleigh's first wife.
Yeah.
Had an acre of land way down the lane that you all have never seen.
Yeah, you're going to confuse everybody. It's hard to explain, and it doesn't really matter. Well, you know what I get? Here's what gets me the most. Anytime, and this is why I kind of got so upset last night. It's like you're privy to tidbits of information. All right, you're privy to tidbits of information.
Yeah.
Which we're blessed to share information with you, but you only get tidbits. But in those tidbits, some people pretend to know more than the folks who actually live it every day and have for their entire lives. So that's what kind of gets me sometimes. People who hear tidbits or they gather up tidbits end up creating or pretending to know more than someone who actually lives it and has lived it. So, but no, Tina, Dan, me, Kim, we've never sold an acre. Don't have any plans to. But I will say that with the continuing flooding, with the fireworks, with the dogs, the stray dogs, with all of the crime happening across the way, I completely understand why the future generations may choose to. Jamie and I just up and moved, and trying to avoid flooding with all the animals. We dealt with that so long and so many times, but no. So just I wanted to clarify that from last night.
But in reality, like, Joanne's business isn't our business.
No.
And
Joanne, no.
And even Tina's business isn't our bit. Like, honestly, like what we know is that we moved here. So.
Yeah. And that was difficult in itself. Don't forget that, my dad and my mom didn't come even to see us. Well, they wouldn't even come visit for 2 years, because it hurt. It hurt them to see us deciding not to continue to stay and live there. And I know that Uncle Dan probably feels the same way about seeing Jake move off. Me and Jake were working in his house a couple of days ago, and that's what Jake said. His dad's off fishing, and here Jake sits trying to redo this and trying to put up sheetrock and trying to do whatever. And I get it. I guess you have these dreams for your kiddos. I think that's normal. You have these visions and these dreams for what you want your kids to do. And sometimes your kids choose to do something different. But Jake and Lissa, young, already had their home flood twice, and Lissa being brand new. Think about it. How can you expect someone to go through and see that and all the work that you put into your home just to see it flood and then see it flood again and know that it's going to flood again? It's going to. I'm telling you right now, it's going to. Nothing's going to change. So people just get tired of the flooding. They get tired of having to evacuate animals. And so if LE came to me, he has it. But if LE and Megan came to us and says, Dad, we're just tired of living in fear. No one wants to see anyone live in fear. We'd have to come to that realization that, hey, you know what? You guys got to find a way to take care of yourselves, protect your family, protect your animals, protect your children. And what happened in Hurricane Harvey, it was traumatic. And so someone just said, guys, it's going to flood again, and it absolutely will. So anyway, are there any questions that we can answer that are not family related? Just remember that if you want to know something, you go to the source. You don't take a tidbit of information and pretend like you know more than family knows. I don't see Ernie, Jamie. Someone's asked about Ernie.
So. He's so right now. I did his treatment on Friday. So we'll wait 2 weeks and taking a sample again. He seems like he's feeling better today. But again, it's a roller coaster, y'all.
All of the animals are doing wonderful here as far as the ones who are new to the property. Everyone's getting along wonderfully. It's a blessing to walk out and see a beautiful herd instead of having two herds. You talked about all this already, right? So Carl still has no babies, but he was sitting on them today. It was a really cute video that I made of him with the baby, with the eggs. So we're still watching and waiting for all of that. So, all right.
My video tomorrow actually shows some neat herd things here. I know y'all are probably sick of the horses, but I am loving what is happening, and I can't wait to show y'all. And we have actually big things coming this week that are, we'll just call them pasture improvements. So there's a big project tomorrow. There's a really huge project on Wednesday, and I can't wait to share it with y'all.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, we are going to let you all go. Thank you all for watching. We are very blessed to have you, and we will catch you guys on the next video. Right, Jamie? The next video?
Thank y'all.
Down in Texas where the sun runs high, there's a place where hearts and spirits fly. I'm a survivor stands for all who've been through. A second chance, a promise, pure and true. They take the broken, the battered, the lost, love without measure, no counting the cost. Every hoof and paw gets the life it deserves, a pasture of hope where kindness curves. We're all survivors of something you see, bound by the winds of destiny. Together we heal, together we thrive, and I'm a survivor. We're keeping dreams alive. The rooster rooster crows at the break of dawn. Life rolls on, the pain is gone. Each animal here gets its own sweet song. A family where all the broken belong. We're all survivors of something